Yes, we are.
Welcome to Your Take is Excrement, the live edition, or the recorded, the video edition.
The only show where you, too, can feel like shit.
Yeah. It is the month of shit, the
It
day
is
of
a safe
shit,
space for shit.
the hour of shit. But before
if you're shit, welcome to the home. The home of bullshit.
Before we get into more shit, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Hashtag Machinist Productions and their RPG, or Machinist Productions and their RPG hashtag iHunt. And Ambi Dream Studio, the Etsy store. It's we'll talk about both of them later on.
Yeah.
But welcome to the poop stream.
The poop stream. So earlier this week, I was at a record store and I was thumbing through some CDs. They were cheap. They were $1 each, and I was like, "Wow, I have like $5 at least." So I was like, I could get like a couple CDs, which I don't need because I could just go onto my phone and listen to literally anything at any point. But I did buy a Limp Bizkit CD, and then we did listen to some of that.
We
Limp
limped the
Bizkit CD.
biscuit.
We did, and I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about Fred and Woodstock '99 and all of that shit. Did you watch that?
I watched.
Woodstock
I didn't watch the Netflix
99.
one. I watched the HBO one.
The Woodstock '99.
Yeah, the Woodstock '99
Yeah.
HBO one. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it
know
was
there's
good.
a new Netflix one.
Is there?
Yeah, that people are talking about. No, I love the moment where it's Fred, right?
Yes.
Where Freddy Boy is like on stage.
Fredward.
Fredward Baggins.
Oh, okay.
And he's a little hobbit of a man, and he's like looking out at the crowd, and he's like, I could incite some violence. And then he looks backstage at the people trying to get him to stop, and he looks back out the crowd, and then he looks backstage, and you see like his eyes have changed.
Give me something to break.
And he just looks at the crowd, and it's just like, end it. Tear it all. Like he's just like,
Tear it all down.
burn it down.
Wreck it.
I am going to incite the biggest fucking riot.
Yeah. Well, okay. So before we continue, also something to mention is this is the first time we're ever coming at you with a visual element. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, you're potentially seeing this visually, which is cool and fun. But if you're on Podbean and you're listening to this later, hello, enjoy that drive. I hope it's a good one. But there is, if you're enjoying it on Podbean, one of our regular iTunes listeners or some shit, you should know that there is a YouTube channel and we have visuals now. If you ever want to,
For the first time.
if you ever want to look upon us in despair, that is a possibility now with Miracle's modern technology.
I am Ozymandias, and this is my podcast.
Yeah.
Look upon my works in despair.
Okay, now in the words of Fred Durst, though, tear it all down. Though
Tear it all down.
Let's tear it all down. Come on, let's tear it down.
In the words of Fred Durst.
Let's fuck it up. Come
I don't
on.
actually listen to a lot of Limp Bizkit, to be entirely honest with you.
Why not? What's wrong with you?
I'm one of those people where if I want new metal, I just kind of listen to System of a Down and then move on.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I disagree
You do?
completely.
Oh.
Yeah. No, Limp Bizkit's good, actually.
I didn't say they were bad. I just don't listen to a lot of them.
No, they're good, actually. Music, it turns out, is generally pretty good. I rarely hear anything that I feel is not super, like, good.
So-
I guess.
I was on a work trip.
Yeah.
With my coworker. We were talking about country, and I was talking about how much I hate like pop country
Yeah.
because that's like the one musical genre that I just can't stand. And then like for the car ride we were in,
Yes.
where he had the aux cable, we were just listening to like Brad Presley and shit,
Okay.
and I was like about to rip
gonna
my
end
ears
it.
off.
I'm gonna end it. No, I understand. That makes a lot of sense to me. As someone who also struggles. Well, I always find stuff like that at least somewhat entertaining, even if shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like sounds, but Do you remember, like, God, it would have been like well over a year ago now. You remember we were all on acid, which is a drug. And sorry. And so we were all on acid, and we were playing with a little. What are those things called with the little, you know, the fucking thing with the little plink plonk plink. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
the fidget toy.
yeah, that little thing. Anyway, it made noises, and one of the keys was broken.
Oh no. The like the finger piano.
Yeah, the finger piano.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's not Mancala, is it?
I don't.
I should know this.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm dumb, and I don't know. I got my lobotomy at Claire's. No. Anyway, my point with this is the person I was dating at the time, like
Kalimba.
Kalimba, yes, Kalimba. But anyway, the person I was dating at the time was like fucking with the broken key, just like to frustrate me, and I was like, "Fuck you." Like, stop it. No. Like, I understand microtonal is like the thing right now, but I don't want to hear it. Like,
Well, how that worked is we were talking about what notes we were. So May handed everybody this piano, and we all were like, "This is my note, bink," whatever. And then she was like, "This is my note, bink." And then May leaped up and said, "It's fucking broken. Let me fix it."
yeah, which is fairly accurate, I think, to my my bit. Yeah. So, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So how was DC? Tell me about DC.
Oh, DC was hot and muggy, and turns out, so I was in the top secret building, and it turns out top secret escorts don't like questions. So I'd be like, "So do y'all manage all of this, or does every branch have their
Do y'all
own?"
fuck each other or what?
No, I was like, "Do y'all manage all this, or do like other branches have their own versions of this building?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "How does this work?" "I don't know." "How does this work?" "I don't know." Stop asking questions.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up and do your job.
So do y'all like fuck? Who's the top?
Who's the top?
Who's the top?
No. Speaking of acid and me working on military bases,
Yes.
I'm really excited for when my job tries to get me top secret clearance and I have to sit down at a lie detector, and they're gonna ask me, "Have you ever done any illicit drugs?"
And I'm
I'm gonna have to be like, "Yes, sir. This one time, here's the date. I did acid this date. I did psychedelic shrooms this date. I did acid this date. Recently I bought acid, and my mom threw it away when she was visiting before I could do any of
I
it."
can't seem to stop doing meth, sir. Like,
No. So
guaranteed to lose me that job.
yeah.
You know.
Well, no. Worst case scenario, this don't give me top secret clearance, and I don't get to like go in Cheyenne Mountain, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about working on military bases, to be entirely honest. I like working on other jobs.
Yeah. It seems like it would be a little bit stressful.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah. So yesterday I went to a thrift store and I saw a lot of really amazing things. One of the things I saw was somebody had made a picture of like their kids huddled around Christ. And it was like huge wall size.
Uh-huh.
And so it was just like a photograph of their children huddled around Jesus.
Why didn't you buy it?
Because it was like $100, and I was like, I get it. The art market is pricey.
Thank you for subscribing, Erica.
Yeah. So that was one of the amazing things I saw. Another amazing thing is I was fiddling around with this like jacket, and I felt the pocket of the jacket, and I was like, "There's something in this motherfucking pocket." So I like unzipped it and reached my hand in there, and I found a chapstick.
Hell yeah, gamer.
And I was like, wow, that's a really fucked up thing to find in a pocket in a thrift store. So I don't know why this is something I needed to tell you, but I did. I did need you to know.
You found some chapstick in a pocket?
I found some chapstick in a pocket. It was fine.
You know, honestly, I love pocket chapstick. I love whenever I reach into a pocket and I find something.
Oh,
it always makes my day. This is disgusting, but in my winter jacket, I left a granola bar in there for like 3 years, and every year I'd reach my hand in the pocket, and be like, oh, it's this like
it's the same granola bar.
And then it's
that's not great.
And then it's like, I'm not by a trash can, so I can't throw it away right now. Then I'd forget about it because it was in like the breast pocket.
Oh my lord!
I mean, it was still like wrapped up and sealed, so it wasn't like, like rotting food. It was just in the wrapper.
This is unrelated. I've been watching the Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix.
How many of those are they gonna make?
A lot. But this one is kind of good, but at the same time, it's got me doing a lot of like really bad thoughts. And I don't mean like murderous thoughts, like I'm gonna kill somebody, but I mean like I have negative thoughts about the future of entertainment. Because like I'm watching it and I'm like, boy, howdy, like are they really? Just like there's like this dramatic music and there's like all this build up and it's like a horror movie and you're like, he killed like a lot of people. Like for real. And I've seen the pictures. I don't know.
I remember watching My Friend Dahmer with my ex.
Oh boy, howdy. I saw that as well.
She was like, wow, this is really impactful. And I was like, this is shit. This is like apologetics for Dahmer.
Well, I don't understand why everybody's fucking simping for him all the time.
And here's my question. Here's what genuinely burns my biscuits, all right?
burns my
biscuits. When are people
Let's go.
When are true crime people gonna get into the peak alpha males of murder and get into lone wolf terrorists? Like I want like, I guess they did just make the Ted Kaczynski movie. I should watch that.
We gotta watch the Ted Kaczynski.
When is there gonna be like thousands of hours of like witchy girls simping over my man Ted? Ted deserves better.
Bundy? Or do you mean Kaczynski?
Did I say Bundy? I thought I said Kaczynski.
No, I'm asking you, do you stan Ted Bundy?
No.
Why not?
Well, okay. See, and here's my defense of more lone wolf terrorists in true crime media.
Okay.
They have an ethos, right? Like they're fucked up and like deranged, but at least they have an ideology. And
this is true.
And, Dahmer's just like, you like to eat little boys.
Well, like,
and like Ted Kaczynski's like, society's so fucked up. I have to stop it. I'm gonna mail bombs to professors.
Well, like, I used to have this thought where I feel like everybody did, or at least that's kind of the way this was sold, was like, serial killers are so interesting. What's going on inside their mind? We must know the intricate details of the brain circuitry that leads a man to kill several women with his hands, and it's like misogyny.
Yeah,
misogyny. Like, it's easy.
Yeah,
I could do it. Misogyny.
And
it's
also,
easy.
Everyone's like, they're masterminds and shit.
And it's like, no,
they're not
they're
that smart. It just goes to show how fucking stupid cops are.
I said this in my video where I was like, there's a drill tweet that's like, I'm so sorry that I suggested that we should at least give ISIS the benefit of the doubt of some kind for like how good they are at murder. Like we should. You don't have to give it to them.
No.
You do not, in fact, have to hand it to them.
No, not really.
It's kind of like that with Ted Bundy. It's like there's not actually anything there that's great to care about. So, like, it's so fucked up how, like, 40 fucking years ago or whatever, this was something that women genuinely were like, we're going to die. Like,
Right.
we're all going to die. And now, we're still like that.
Yeah.
Like, now it's just lone wolf, like, white supremacists
Lone
with
wolf
guns.
incel white supremacists.
Yeah, exactly. Who watched the movie, Fuck Club, directed by Cuck Palahniuk, written by Cuck Palahniuk. I don't know. Anyway, and then they make very good decisions.
Yeah. Like
TM.
good choices all around.
Yeah. We love a good decision.
You know, I think Andrew Tate was allowed to fester for a bit too long on the internet.
You've been on a tear about Andrew Tate.
I fucking hate that ball fuck.
Let's go.
He can burn in fucking hell.
So we're
and
gonna
I'll
fight.
send him
We're gonna
there.
fight Andrew Tate right now.
He'd win because he's a kickboxer. But
So he's.
but I'd bring a knife to a kickbox fight.
He's off a lot of the internet.
Yeah,
now,
he got
right?
deplatformed. So like, but it's like Alex Jones, right? It took fucking forever for Alex Jones to get deplatformed. Like, and even it's like Ben Shapiro and the Charlie Sheen and the other fucking right wing grifting reactionary. Like, it's been so hard to like get them off of platforms. And at least with Andrew Tate, they did it relatively quickly in the grand scheme of like the internet. Getting rid of shitty people.
The thing is, the right has to do this thing where they're like, okay, we want to say that we should like lynch people, and that's cool. But if we said that, we would definitely get kicked off the platform.
And Andrew Tate's over there like, I'm gonna fucking lynch people and sex traffic women.
Right. And so Ben Shapiro is like, my dude, I agree with you. But if we say it differently, then no one will know.
Ben Shapiro's like, you're saying the quiet part loud, Andrew.
You're saying the quiet part loud.
You're saying the quiet part loud, Andrew.
Everyone has a 5.5-inch penis. Oh wow! Thank you for subscribing, House of Rage.
I am back, BB.
Let's go, BB. Oh, 15 months. Wow, that's a long fucking time, gamer. Yeah, holy shit.
No, but the reason I've been on Andrew Tate tear is one of my coworkers was like, yeah, he's just really funny. I've been watching a lot of him, and I've been like, how do I? And he was like 21 and like just kind of like homeschooled by like hyper fundamentalist religious parents, and I was like, all right, I have like 2 weeks of working with you. How do I deprogram you? Like, how do I? So I just spent like every waking moment like, how the fuck do I deprogram this dude? Like, how do I break him out of this cycle?
Ted Kaczynski was actually a femboy. He liked to fuck.
Oh, I didn't know Ted Kaczynski got ultra'd.
He actually was a femboy who liked to fuck. Come on, please.
Teddy and the cat ears.
Please let me have it. He's in the cat ears.
Yeah.
Well, I know everybody's doing this lately, but also I think he was like actually kind of a piece of shit, right? Like that's the bit.
No, well,
he is not stannable.
Teddy, no,
no. Well, no one is. Stannable,
well, and like,
though.
why do all
don't
the
stand anyone.
why do all of the significant lone wolf terrorists got to be right wing shit heels?
This is the question I've been asking since the birth of the internet. I got a Twitter DM the other day that pissed me off.
Oh, yeah?
So I was like, I want to talk about it on the podcast because I have I guess I have like a sensitivity issue when other people give me. So apparently someone got mad at me and was like, you're a fucking idiot because you said that Requiem for a Dream is war on drugs propaganda.
I haven't seen the movie and I know that.
Well, so, and they were like, it's clearly anti-war on drugs propaganda. You're an idiot. And so I just wanted to say, I don't think that, okay, have you ever done drugs? Listen, Is it war on drugs propaganda, though? I implied that in a joking manner once upon a time, but what I would probably say about it is that it's not that it's war on drugs propaganda. It has a very non-nuanced approach to the concept. Most people that have like hideous drug problems or whatever don't just like do it until they die like really quick. They do it for like a long fucking time. A lot of people do it for like their entire lives, and they bounce back and forth between doing it and not doing it, doing it, not doing it, and it's like just kind of a factor and a fact of their life. And the idea that if you start doing like hard drugs, in the matter of literal no time, you'll be going ass to ass is fucking insane. Like, that's fucking insane. That's not how that shit goes. Now, I have seen Black Metal Veins, and in Black Metal Veins, there's a scene where a guy is fingering a prostitute while getting injected heroin in his neck.
Huh.
And that shit was pretty good.
My favorite movie about drugs is Mandy. Do acid go murder cultists?
Yeah, let's go. No, I feel like I've been seeing the Mandy influence start to appear in movies now. Have you felt this? I don't
like in what movies? Like what have you seen it in?
Well, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I would say that it's like there's this face forwardness in stuff now. There a lot of directors that I really like now are kind of doing this big thing where they're like, yeah, we like don't care what you think about the subject matter. We're gonna make something that's fucked up and cool in our own way. And so like that face forwardness, I feel like is, I don't know. For whatever reason, I associate Mandy with that. But what?
My friend up in Denver, Chris.
Yes.
We need to watch Mandy with him.
Okay.
We have a running bit that he's a cult leader.
That Chris is a cult leader?
Chris, my friend Chris, shout out Chris up in Denver, is a cult leader. And so,
Okay.
and so we all my me and all my internet friends, we all want to show him Mandy because
That's because he needs. Yeah. Okay. I see.
He needs.
Does he
anyway.
pull his dick out in front of women
No, but
and then
no,
get laughed
no,
at
no,
because he
had-
only has a 5.5-inch penis?
No, he has the yellow tinted aviators though.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's similar. More. Oh, so more Jonestown, less. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. No, I've been doing a lot of really messy research lately. I tell you what. I got to do the cartel shit next, and so this is I'm gonna experiment, I guess, with this argument here for a second, and I want to see what you think about it. But
speaking of the CIA,
so I read a book. Well, I didn't read the whole thing, but I read about half of it because that was all I could get in the free preview. I could have paid $45 to buy a translated copy of it, but I was like, or I could just read exactly as much as this PDF will allow. But anyway, the book was about how cartels are not real. The cartel is not real. And I was like, well, if that's true, if the cartel is actually not real, then fucking every one of these motherfuckers on the internet that's like, ooh, the cartel is full of shit. And that would be amazing.
well,
So I was like, I got to know more. So I read into it, and apparently, just like the CIA did with crack here, the cartel is like, there's this image painted of like a, like kind of a farmer dude with a Gucci shirt who's like, I'm a down home cartel boss. And if anybody fucks with me, I do kill them in horribly gruesome ways.
Right.
But also, I just do it for the money. And it's like some big network. Like, there's all these examples of all these people historically who were like cartel bosses and cartel leaders. But the truth is there are many cartels, like tons of them.
It's
like
it's
literal
not,
shitloads of them.
It's not like a unified thing.
So if there are literal shitloads of them, then that means that there are none of them. because actually they're just groups of like narcos,
Well,
right?
so I think
So it's just like groups of narcos.
Right, well-
so in the United States, when you go to buy drugs from a guy in like his car, you're visiting a narco.
right.
Right? So that guy is like, you know, just like some guy who's been smoking pot all morning and is like, oh, here's your meth. You know, and so do you call that guy the cartel guy?
Right.
So what basically the government there has done is they've set this big narrative up that there's like a unified group of narcos called the cartel,
Right.
which is like just a group of people who are ruthless, violent, and all this stuff to justify military invasion into the actual suburban areas of certain cities.
Right.
And the fucking ironic part is that a lot of people running in government there
Are involved in the cartels.
in
Yeah.
the drug trade.
Well,
So they're what are they fighting a war
Yeah.
against themselves?
well, yeah, and I think so. I think like right now there's like just as you said, like a metric shitload of cartels all fighting for like territory and distribution and shit.
Yeah.
I think at one point there was like a collection of people who like got together and so there were like 6 or 7 different individual people who like who exported cocaine, and they all said if
Yeah.
we because you know they made a cartel, and they're like, hey, if we all work together and if we stop infighting, like we can sell so much cocaine because it's all about like how the cartels got rich is they figured out the supply economics of how to get cocaine into the states.
yeah.
Helped by the CIA. Like the CIA super duper helped them with that and helped fund them. But and then anyway, so I think there was like at one point in like the 80s a unified cartel, and then it just fractured, and then those parts fractured, and then those parts fractured, and then those parts fractured.
Well, like the book explores the fiction side of things where it's like, let's take a look at the like literal just like a book, right? Like let's take a look at a book of fiction written in Mexico about crime at certain different intervals of time. And they're like, because fiction is usually a response to truth, right? If the world is like that, then it is a response to the world being like that, or vice versa. So like a lot of people are like, oh, if you look at fiction, then there's no narratives there. There is. It's just
Right.
psychoanalytically. So a lot of the fiction from like the 80s started portraying the cartel as these like ruthless guys who would like leave severed heads piled up in the desert and shit. And you know, like Sicario, right?
Yeah.
Where in Sicario there's like the bit where the walls have like a shitload of bodies in them and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they just paint this as like being the primary narrative of like, you know, so you know that whole if it bleeds it leads thing.
Right.
That's exploitation.
Right.
That
Well,
what that's describing is exploitation. And a lot of people say it and are like, yeah, no, it's good actually to you know exploit death in other countries. So, but what is that doing? You know, it's basically saying before we even really can possibly understand the political ramifications of this, we're going to report on it as being a shocking incident of this like government narrative. You know, and it's like, you know, what nobody trusts the state anywhere for some goddamn reason.
Right.
It's almost like they have fucked us around in war for decades and have let us down politically consistently and elected leaders that were psychopaths regularly. It has something to do with that probably. And
Andy Lee, is that a Ghost Recon Wildlands reference?
probably.
I
Anyway, so there's like this distrust, but for whatever reason, whenever it comes to like news media and journalism, people immediately just like sucking the dick of the state. They're just like, yeah, whatever the state said is obviously true. So like fiction people, true crime people, like they start painting up this thing, and by calling it truth and calling it like somewhat objective, they're not discounting the language used to describe the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've been doing a lot of research on cartel videos lately,
Mm-hmm.
which is to say, like, like videos where supposedly the cartel uploaded themselves murdering the shit out of some people.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, did that shit happen? I mean, obviously, it's on camera.
Right.
But there's this thing that's going on with them that people often don't comprehend. And that is that so there are two reasons why something gets filmed, right?
Mhm.
It's either they're filming the thing because they want it to be captured on film,
Mhm.
or they're filming the thing incidentally because they think it's crazy.
Mhm.
And so the narrative for a lot of these videos, these like supposed cartel videos, the narrative is that they were incidentally filmed by people who were around and were like, whoa, this is crazy, we got to film this. Something crazy caught on tape that we were doing, not thinking that it was intentional.
Right.
Not thinking that everything that we're seeing in that clip is with intent.
Mhm.
And if it's with intent, then you've got to ask yourself, like, well, who made the video, right?
Mhm.
Who made the video and why did they make the video?
Right.
And a lot of them have fucking edits in them,
Mhm.
like just edits. And it's like, so why is this getting around, and why are these things like being edited and being treated with like videography level care?
Mhm.
It seems like it's non-incidental. If it were incidental, we would just see a piece of it. I mean, like, look, I've been to a million punk shows where people start like beating the shit out of each other, and it's like, let's film that, and you get about 10 seconds of that, and everybody's like, wow. But a lot of these videos are fucking minutes long.
Yeah.
So there's intent behind it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, wow, it's so fucked up that they keep injecting these people with like adrenaline to keep them alive and keep them feeling the pain. And it's like, no, they inject them with adrenaline to keep them alive so that they can continue to film them.
Right. Well, and I think part of like a part of that is like, the state's power comes from violence, and I think there's a lot of cartels in areas that are trying to become a state, like a narco state.
Well, I mean,
And so it's like, I don't know. I see it as like a projection of power, but
yeah, well, it's hard because like there's this thing where culture parodies its own idea the second it hears the idea. So if there's like a genre of music, anybody who goes, I hear a genre of music, I'm going to make that genre myself, is usually making a parody of that genre inherently. So cartel violence now, if it exists for the purposes of shock in any sort of sense, it's doing so as a response to the instructions they're
Right.
seemingly given by the state.
right. Well, and like so I grew up in West Africa.
Yeah.
And like the Boko Haram is the big like extremist group in
Yeah.
that area. And part of the reason they were so incredibly dangerous is they were really pissed off that American journalists would only cover like Al Qaeda and
Yeah.
shit in the Middle East and nothing in like West Africa. So they
Right.
would like intentionally go so much harder than like Al Qaeda ever would.
Right.
To try to like one up them so that
Yeah.
they would get news coverage.
Right.
But because like the American journalists and population is just inherently racist against like Nigeria, they could just never get the same coverage as like Al Qaeda.
Wow.
And so, but it was like literally like news. It's like like Al Qaeda would do something, the news would cover it, and then like Al Qaeda would like capture like kidnap 20 girls at a school. Boko Haram would kidnap like 300 girls and not get nearly as much
nothing.
news coverage.
Yeah.
And Boko Haram was just like, what the fuck? Come on.
Well, so another thing you'll learn about a lot of those cartel videos is the people that they're torturing and killing are the police.
Makes sense.
And you're like, well, okay, so more than anything, in a lot of ways, they are trying to scare the police. Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to tell the state to fuck
Yeah.
off because they keep coming into their neighborhoods with fucking militarized, and then they have to get militarized, which when it's like there is a rampant capitalism to it, but there's a rampant capitalism to the drug trade in general. And if you fucked with the drug trade at all anywhere in the world, you know that it's rampant capitalism, right? It's you know, rogue medicinals.
Yeah.
What do you think it's gonna be? So, but like, I don't know. A lot of the stuff that happened in the Middle East, there's the justification that there's like this back and forth between the rampant capitalism of the oil industry, the militarization coming from the United States, mostly having to do with protecting capital, and then the people themselves, like, going really hard on like those people. So it's like you're getting violence from like these three different trajectories. It's the same situation with the cartel. What is this saying?
I'm trying to parse it.
Oh yeah.
But while you're reading that, and we will respond in a second to it.
Oh yeah.
Ads down ads.
Are we supposed to do ads? Okay.
I think we're about that time.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So those of you who've been here the entire stream or just catching us on YouTube, earlier I was talking about tabletop RPG takes. I love tabletop RPGs. So you can trust me. I am a trustworthy source. Hashtag iHunt. Good.
Good
Great.
shit.
Good shit. And I realized that I just need to stop doing the OK symbol because I do it as like good.
I do it a lot. But,
Yeah,
but the reason I do it,
this isn't white supremacy. This
Okay.
is good.
yeah, like I do it a lot, but and no one ever gives a shit really in the real world. I
Yeah,
find.
but we're online, and I just want to.
No.
Fuck white supremacy.
Yeah,
If
well,
you
I
hate
think
white
that
supremacy, you should go play hashtag iHunt.
to be honest, I feel like that's fairly assumed. I
about-
think that they're going to be really, really happy that we took that we took their ad read and turned it into an argument against white. Maybe they're fine with it.
Listen,
maybe.
I just
I don't
love,
think they're cool with white supremacy.
I love the
so,
ongoing-
Like, they also despise it.
I love the ongoing campaign to like de-radicalize Pepe, and so now
And you're in support of this.
I'm in support
Okay.
of using Pepe, not as a Nazi symbol, but as the frog he was intended to be.
the frog he was intended.
But yeah, so it's a game about hunting monsters in the gig economy. So in the game, you like get an app on your phone, and you're like an Uber driver, but you're killing Dracula, or werewolves, or
yes.
ghosts. So go check it out. Links are in the description. Also, if you noticed, we have art on our walls
Because we hate the color.
because
Come
we hate
white.
the landlord special.
We do.
And it's not just on that wall. There's art all
I'm
over.
trapped in here.
So if you don't like the landlord special, go to Ambient Dream Studios and
Wow, I feel better because now there's stuff on the walls and I don't feel so trapped.
and put some stuff on your walls, or they sell clothes. Put some stuff on your body.
I was trying to do a very visual ad. I
I
was like, I'm
new to this visual
to this visual medium. New visual medium,
Visual.
as they call it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
don't have landlord walls.
No.
Go buy.
Don't
buy
be
some,
a bitch.
Don't be a
Go get
bitch.
yourself some art.
Yeah.
That's my argument. That's my entire argument for why someone should do this.
Yeah, and links are
Don't be a
down in the
bitch.
description. We'd also like to thank everyone on Patreon.
I like the idea of the mask slipping about advertising. So we go from like the world where advertising is like, yeah, you need this new cool thing. It's just being like, if you don't do it, then you're
then
a
you're
bitch.
a loser.
You suck. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like completely
The only way to
let the mask slip.
the only way your parents will love you is if you, if you buy.
Fuck. All right. If you hate what we do, and thank you for hating it because like I hate it too.
Let us know in the comments and drive up our engagement.
Yo, I'm not talking about haters. I'm talking about people who hate us so much they want to give us money.
Oh, yes.
Patreon.com/YourTakeIsX is the place to go if you want to see us do this, but for money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of the satisfaction you'll feel being like, I paid for this shit.
Well, I mean, the people that the good people that actually like really put in the effort and time and care to help us build this shit have now gotten us to a place where we're doing this on video and it's turning into a whole thing. So it's like, well, clearly we're getting somewhere here. Nothing, nothing to. Can't stress that enough.
Yeah, we're making progress, and we legitimately wouldn't be here without the support from Patreon, because our lives are just going nuts, and the support from Patreon really helps us keep this going. So yeah, links for that will be down in the description. Anything else you need to shout out?
Do you want to tell anybody about like your weird habits or hobbies? Do you have any fetishes you want to tell them? While we're on the ad break?
While we're on the ad break, okay.
Have you recently begun dressing as a clown?
No, feet. All right? No.
Oh, are we really going to do this?
No, I was doing a bit. Or was I? You'll never know.
Last night, I said a thing that kind of like...
Thank you, Analog.
It cooked the noodle of a lot of people that I was standing around, and we had a real think about it. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. Okay. If you're fucking a clown, like...
Get that pussy.
Hold up. If you're fucking a clown, I feel personally like I would struggle to do that. I would have a hard time fucking a clown. And it's not because they're a clown. That's fine. I don't care. The problem would be that I wouldn't know whether or not they wanted to actually have sex or if they were just trying to make me happy. And so the whole time I would be like, okay, but for real though, is this good?
So
do you want this to happen?
What you're saying is you think all clowns are such bottoms that they're incapable of communicating what they want sexually, and you're scared of them agreeing to things that are not comfortable because they don't feel they don't feel like they have a voice in the sexual exchange.
Imagine you're fucking a sad clown. And they're just like, no, like I have to. No, this is like my thing. I gotta be a sad clown. That's my whole thing. And you're just like, yeah, but you're sad, and I'm having sex with you. Like this is breaking my heart. Like I have too much empathy to fuck a clown. Is my point. And that makes me feel shitty because I think that clowns should be fucked by somebody.
I'd fuck a clown. I'd get that clussy.
I know you would, but see, I don't know. I'm different. I'm weird.
I mean, I think you're
just like, I don't know. I feel like the clown would have a hard time with me.
I love how you're like, you want to talk about any fetishes? No, shut the fuck up. I'm going to talk about fucking clowns.
Well, like, nobody talks about it. Like, because I just want to know, like, I don't know. I don't know if I worry about the person that can just fuck a clown and not feel this, like, are you performing right now feeling? Or if I feel like the kind of person that fucks a clown is a saint because that person is just like, yes, I understand that you're not performing and I'm not getting tripped up by that. See, I'm going to fuck you anyway.
Real talk. The other May, the May in the computer is coming through with good takes. So listen, so if you want genuine engagement with that question, listen to the May on the computer.
What are you talking? What? What's happening?
There's Maynard or Maynard.
Yes.
Anyway.
No, but so my point is just like, yeah, you really got to prep a clown. I feel.
Yeah.
You know, you got, or you at least a clown has to prep me. You got to make me balloons first. You know what I mean? We got to have a balloon animal. You gotta fucking pull the scarves out of your throat. You know, you got to do a magic trick or some shit. Because like, there's no way that I'm just gonna get. I don't just fuck anybody. You got to make me a balloon animal, you son of a bitch.
It's like the balloon animal of like a dick.
And you're like, this is your come up. This is all you got. No, it's been weird. Clown aftercare. You gotta get all the grease paint off. Yeah, with like a towel. Yes, here's your towel. Sorry. If you want to reapply, I'll understand. Like if that is a big thing for you.
Okay,
Are we done talking about fucking clowns, or do we want to keep talking about fucking clowns?
About it, I'm gonna.
You're gonna get horny.
I'm gonna keep talking about it, and then we'll all regret being brought to this.
Oh
to
boy,
this
howdy!
point.
I think we already do. And I brought us here, so blame me, okay? Yeah. So more than my basic point is just that I feel like the clown girl thing is cool, but I just have way too much empathy to get into it.
That clown girl meme lived and died so fucking quickly.
It did not. There are women
not?
right now who are making decent money being clown girls.
You know, braver than the troops is what I have to say to that.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you think being a clown is bravery?
I think being a
you have to be
clown
brave to
sex
be a clown?
worker is
Oh well,
implicitly
sex
shows-
workers are implicitly brave.
Yeah.
But clowns, are they implicitly brave?
I think your average sex worker is implicitly braver than your average troop. Stop making me dig this hole deeper.
Was John Wayne Gacy implicitly brave for being a clown?
No, never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
This is ideological deadlock. Like, you can't fight me here. Was John Wayne Gacy brave for being a clown?
Okay, so I don't know a lot about.
Get fucking wrecked.
I don't know a lot about serial killers, to be honest. Did John Wayne Gacy go for women or kids?
Kids.
Oh, well. You see, I think if you're a brave serial killer, you have to pick up guys like to kill from like a gym, right? Like you have to snatch people from CrossFit.
You got to go to the nightclubs.
No.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
So what you're saying
what
that
I'm saying
is
is
when
if-
you're a serial killer, you go to the motherfucking...
If you're a brave serial killer, you find the prey that could kick your ass, right? You like, right?
Children are horrifying. Performing in front of them is all the horror of stand-up, but the entire audience is even more aggressive than drunk people in a club if you don't perform well. It's true. Children are fucking awful.
I'm not a huge fan of children in general.
All right, do you want to start shitting on children? Let's start shitting on children. Your take is excrement.
Okay, your take is
Shits on
excrement on children. I believe it or not was once a child.
Do you want to have kids in your
No.
life?
No.
No?
I was a giant piece of shit as a child.
Uh-huh.
I was an uncontrollable mess, and I would not wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
I do not want to participate in making another one of those.
Well, I read Conspiracy Against the Human Race, and there's an argument in the book that's like, we should probably all cease having children as consciousness is a nightmare and the human experiment has failed. And I was like,
No, well,
Yeah.
I don't agree.
I'm
with
here for that.
because there are babies I would die for. Like,
there are?
yeah,
I don't know a single fucking baby right now.
my niece.
Oh.
Yeah,
you have a
my little-
niece?
my
That's
little
cute.
niece,
That's
Sam.
sweet.
Uh,
I have no babies in my life.
I have an online friend who, as a bit, I think he's only half joking about this. He's raising his son to be the Khan of the post-apocalypse. So he's like preparing a diet plan for as his child grows up.
Yeah.
To like maximize muscle growth. So he's just gonna like make the God King of the future for when the post-apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, like the Ubermensch?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
I would also
an Ayn Randian Superman? Is that what you're implying?
yeah.
They're going to build an Ayn Randian Superman out of their child?
Yeah, but
I saw this meme.
Not in a creepy way. I'm gonna feed him the healthiest food until he can bench press 400 pounds.
I saw this fucking meme earlier today. Sorry, I have to tell you about the meme. I saw this meme earlier today that was like people years ago, and it was just like, honey, we're finally at the place where we have enough food to feed exactly us, and we have money and a house. We should breed until we have had as many children as God will allow. And then they have like fucking 50 babies, and it's like kids now, and it's like, my family is my cats. My kids are my cats. And it's like very real. And I know that this is a tacky thing. This is tacky. But my point is just, I think that depiction of the past is very unhinged in a way that satisfies me.
Yeah.
Where people are just like, well, darling, I guess we'll have another.
So, I don't know. It's just in conclusion, there are two babies that
are two babies
I know
inside you.
that I would die for.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I think so. I like in general. You know, I'm not gonna have kids. I don't want kids. I would adopt a kid probably. Because,
see, that's where I'm at.
Because that's like ethical and shit. But like, I
Yeah.
think it's very hard to talk about how we need to reduce birth rates without getting into eugenics like uncomfortably quickly.
Right.
So it's just something I try not to talk about because it's incredibly easy to just like whoopsie into like a Nazi take.
Right.
Whenever you're talking about like like trying to check or cease human reproduction.
Right.
So it's just one of those topics where it's like I don't have a super evolved take about it, but my take is generally like I feel like the more people talk about it, the closer they get to eugenics, and I don't like that.
I feel like people talking about having empathy for children is over, like almost over a lot of empathy for adults is very strange. I think it's interesting who we choose to have empathy for.
Yeah, well,
because like, you know, what a lot of people on the internet are trying to like gauge the value of life based on different characteristics, and that I feel is kind of shit.
Well, and I think moral ethics have been terminally trolley problem brained.
Oh, 100%. Everything
Right.
has been trolley problem brained,
Well,
where it's like, well, think of the kids.
Yeah, well, and I think that
And
like
it's like, let's think about them.
so I think like that's definitely like a leftover from your evolutionary like we have to protect the children.
Yeah.
Like, protect your offspring.
Well, like, and a lot of it is like, oh, we shouldn't be abusing kids, but it's like, well, a lot of parents hit their kids. Like, a lot of parents have and will continue to hit their kids, and a lot of those kids will grow up to hit their kids, and like, these are problems,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, we should probably be up in arms about the whole package of things
Right.
instead of just the one thing. And I find that a lot of people online right now are freaking out about like a lot of really bad shit that happens to kids on the internet, and like, or a lot of stuff that's like filmed and then shared on the internet. And so I'm just kind of the mind that it's like, well, a consciousness is a consciousness, and pain is pain, and a human life is a human life, and like none of us really know what's going on, and the illusion of life experience on our child self, I think, is also kind of a misnomer. So
Right.
I think that it's kind of an all or nothing thing, where it's like, I feel like you've got to be equally appalled by fucking a fucking police shooting or a
Right.
mass shooting here in the States, in the same way that you have to be about hurt core and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if one of those things is somehow shitty, I think the difference in like people experiencing the pain that children experience on Earth for morbid curiosity and pleasure, I think that in and of itself is fucked up. But when you add the capitalist multiplier of people like literally filming themselves hurting children for the purposes of like giving that to other people who are into that,
Right, and
it's
not even, like-
such a fucked up multiplier.
And like not even the illegal shit, but just the shit that like gets like the like the kid vlog channels that are
Right.
on YouTube and shit. But
Yeah.
I think so. Like,
But it's like, okay, I just read Jeanette McCurdy's book. I'm super glad my mom is dead.
Right.
And in that book, she talks about child exploitation. And I went through shit like that when I was a kid, and you went through shit like that when you were a kid. And like people go through that shit like when they're kids, and nobody gives a shit. You know,
Right.
the life of a kid is unfortunately to be exploited
Yeah,
in a lot of different ways. And like children's suffering is bad because it leads to a lifelong suffering.
right, or potentially lifelong.
But like adult suffering is expected.
Right. Well, and I think part of why children's suffering is like worse is because they don't have the same like coping mechanisms or like
Yeah.
maturity or awareness of the world and how it works. And so it's just like
I genuinely think it's just the capitalist multiplier. It's the fact that it's not that people have done it, because people have been doing that, like shitty things to kids, since the dawn of fucking time or some shit. And it sucked, and people have fucking hated it forever, and fuck those people. Well, not to say fuck the people who hate it, but fuck those people who do it.
Right.
We can all agree that. But and so like that has existed forever. It's the fact that it's now some kind of industry, and I think that when people talk about that through a true crime lens and they don't talk about the capitalist influence on the entire thing, they're like neglecting to talk about, in my opinion, the most important part.
right. Well, I think something that
What-
really annoys me about true crime. I'm going to go on a tangent.
No,
here,
that's fine. I'm talking shit about true crime all day.
Is they're always like, well, we want to be respectful of the victims. Like we just want to be respectful, and then they proceed to spend an hour being like, I think these parents killed their fucking kid, and it's
Yeah.
like they didn't, and
Yeah.
like they're suffer. I don't know. It's just I find a lot of true crime is like they try to put up this like pretense of empathy and caring, and then they're just like callous. For like
This is what I was saying about the self-harm thing in my recent video, where it's like people bring up self-harm to be like, self-harm bad, here's a phone number, and it's like this performative empathy thing, but they don't actually want to talk about their experience of it, what it's like, you know, the people that suffer with it. And they have nothing to say to that effect. So it's like, why bring it up if you're just going to do it for points? And I feel like a lot of people who do this whole like we white knight for children on the internet thing are actually just encouraging people to get into it.
Yeah.
Like in a weird way, I feel like a lot of people didn't know that Daisy's destruction was even a thing until people started telling other people how fucked up it was that Daisy's destruction was a thing. And then because of that, people started to seek out Daisy's destruction
Right.
more.
Well, and it's
I'm not
like-
necessarily saying that true crime causes the problem, but it definitely spreads the word.
I would even say true crime contributes to fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And I think, but part of it is because like if you're, you know, it's like the fucking Dahmer movie. You're just fucking glorifying that shit.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, you can be like, oh, it's bad they murdered people, but have you seen the pictures of Dahmer? I don't know,
It's so
just-
interesting
it's
what's
just-
going on in his mind. He's
Yeah.
so interesting. He's so complicated. He contains multitudes.
It's just so fucking frustrating. It drives me up like a fucking wall. Like, it's
Nothing can ever just be simple. I think that that's very frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't just look at something on its face and be uninterested. And I think that's like a flaw in humanity, right? Is like we see something fucked up, and we go, I want to empathize with that in specific. Like, why? Why do people want to throw their empathy at Dahmer when it's not just victims? It's like the shitty attitudes that lead people to places like Dahmer goes. right?
Right.
And like, why do people refuse to look at these things in simplistic terms on their face?
Right.
Like, what is this? We need to go in interior and understand this on an interior level. And
Right.
it's like, I do think people should know about stuff like that, because like shit like that is scary and you should know what's possible. But at the same time, I think that it's so frustrating to do the thing that's like, well, Jeffrey Dahmer's interesting. He contains multitudes. He's like got this whole fucking life going on in there, and like we got to know all about it. And it's just like, like he's actually a shitbag murderer.
Yeah. No, just a piece of shit.
He's just a fucking shitbag
Scumbag.
murderer. And like, while he may have been a complicated individual on some sort of level in the same way that everybody is, choosing to call him a complicated individual and not the people he killed is largely one of the big problems.
Right.
And then I think that the answer to that is like putting a big title screen up that's like, here are all the people he killed. And it's like, well, that doesn't fucking help anything. That just justifies the existence of what you already wanted to
Right.
do. And so at some point, it's just kind of like, well, you can talk about certain aspects of it that make it interesting, but diving into it as if it's some sort of really interesting dude, I feel is kind of shit.
No, and it's like all the movies go out of their way to show like he was just a lame fucking dickhead.
Yeah, he's
like,
just an asshole.
He was just like an asshole that no one wanted to hang out with. So it's like, don't pretend he's fucking interesting or deep.
I can't wait for the John Wayne
But-
Gacy movie where they're like, he was so interesting. He was a cross-dresser and he liked to fuck like children, and
Yeah.
he was a clown. And it's like, wow, I don't want to live anymore. Like,
Well-
this is not good or exciting. Why are we? And so there's this like punk rock element to the way that people look at serial killers, where they're just like, oh shit, yeah, we love to learn about a serial killer because they they're so interesting.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, why? Because the thing we know about them is not that they worked at Wendy's, but that they killed women. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, or killed gay men, or killed black men, or killed children,
Insert-
or whatever the fuck it was.
Insert
it's
whatever.
just sort of like, yeah, I don't know. So I just feel like we use shit like that as like justifications for stupid perpetuations.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
and-
kind of frustrating.
And to go off on another tangent on that, Secret Society of Goths was talking about in the chat. It's like America has such a pitiful fucking excuse for like mental health care.
Oh,
Where
terrible.
It's like there was a time in my life where I like called I was in college and I called their mental health line, and I was like, hey, I'm like depressed and suicidal, and I'm like, I can't cope with my like ADHD. I failed all my classes. I don't know what to do. Can y'all put me through to like a psychiatrist? And they were like, well, it was September when I did this.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. We can get you in. Is the end of December good for you? I was like, no, the fuck it isn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, this is like a now problem. Like,
Right.
This is like a
like a
anyway,
let's go,
like,
it's time problem.
I'm like, this is a cry for help, y'all. Like,
yeah, exactly.
and,
so
and so then they were like, well, we can put you through to like some doctors or some psychiatrists in the area. And I was like, please do that.
If
Yes.
you can put me in touch with any the fuck one.
Yeah, and so then they gave me 5 numbers, 3 of which weren't psychiatrists.
Okay.
So 2 of
They were
which
just like GPs.
the other 2 were like full, or
Yeah.
like family practitioners or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, and then I was like, well, should I call like the suicide hotline? And I was like, well, if I call them, and if they like call the cops,
Yeah.
and I get like have to spend a week like an inpatient, that's going to exacerbate every single problem I have. Like that is
Right.
going to make every problem that is causing this worse. So I can't do that. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, what the fuck is there to do now?
Well, and like, I don't know. I think that the fact that so many people respond to shit that I make, and they say like, seek therapy? Are they telling other people it's like, if you're having problems, you should seek therapy? And it's like, do you know how expensive therapy is?
Yeah.
And people go, well, it's worth it. And it's like, yeah, okay, so it's between eating today or going to therapy once this month and getting no actual answers.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, we all just want to pawn problems off on each other so that we can advertise shit to each other so that we can make money off of each other instead of at any point trying to be human and connect with each other. And because of that, we pawn the problem off on therapists who are like, we'll happily take your money to entertain the possibility of talking about your problems.
Right. Well, and like, I think there are good therapists.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I think they conceptually work, but
Yeah.
like every therapist I've had has been okay to like probably making it worse. And so this isn't like an anti-therapist thing, because it's like if you're having problems and you have the opportunity to talk to a therapist, like do that. Like I'm not trying to say don't talk to therapists.
Well, for sure, but like
when I was in high school, I had a therapist who like would just call me in and just like try to invent problems for me to have. And I was like, no, I don't have that problem. And he'd be like, no, you do. We have to work on it. And I'd be like, but I don't.
Yeah.
And so it lasted for like a year until my dad was like, hey, can I have the files on my kid? And he's like, what files?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just it's frustrating.
Well, like, okay, so I saw a therapist recently, like I like saw a therapist for ADHD, and they told me I didn't have ADHD, I had CPTSD. And so I was like, well, what if, hear me out, what if I have both? And then they were like, well, are you bipolar? And I was like, no. And they were like, well, maybe you are. And I was like, no, it's not like I have manic and depressive episodes. I'm pretty much consistently the same.
Right.
I'm always kind of going, and I'm pretty content with that. But like, it's mostly just I get distracted really fucking easily, and I can't focus on my fucking life. And I have used like medicine to help with ADHD in the past, and it has helped. I would love to use it again one day.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, well, no, I think we probably need to be treating the bipolar. And I'm like, I'm not bipolar. I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm trying to tell you, I am okay, I have CPTSD, sure. I'm like schizoaffective, like probably more OCD than anything. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm also an introvert. There's like a bunch of things, but, I don't know. I'm expected to do a lot of things socially, and a lot of my problems stem from being unable to focus on social issues, like on like being in a social situation. So it's just like, fuck me. Like, I can't get any help.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to tell you what the problem is, and I understand that you're like, okay, but let's do this, and they end up trying to prescribe you like drugs that are dangerous.
Yeah.
I've found, like, and they keep trying, and I'm like, I've Googled that particular drug, and I feel like that might be dangerous for me.
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, it's not.
Well, and also therapists who don't have a license to diagnose you and are
Yeah.
trying to diagnose you. It's like, I recognize you've read the DSM
Yeah.
5 or 6 or whatever they're on, but like, unless you can medicate me and actually diagnose me, stop bringing this up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then it ends up being like, are we talking about fucking my medical hormone balance, my mind balance, some bullshit like that? Or are we talking about the fact that I feel like lonely? You know what I mean? Like, how do I tell? And so I tell a person that I pay, that I'm like, I'm lonely, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, fucking what are they going to do for you?
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Have you considered getting a beer with a friend? And it's like, well, how do I make friends? And they're like, have you considered going to a meetup group? Have you considered taking up a new hobby? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I made all my hobbies my job.
Right.
So now the only people that talk to me in involving my hobbies are people that are like fans of me. Mm-hmm. And so that yeah, is also lonely. So I don't know. My point is just like I don't dislike the concept of a therapist. I dislike the American healthcare system, and I dislike the like shitty, neglectful attitude of just kind of pawning that crap off on other people.
Right.
And then I dislike the fact that there aren't any real conversations or narratives going on about that. So people feel like they're all dealing with it alone. And like, because of that, there's nothing is happening because of it. And like mental health stuff has been mistreated for the entirety of like American history. And it's still pretty much being neglected. It's just like the way in which it's being neglected now, while similar to the way that it was prior, has taken like a kind of new form. It's like a similar-ish form. But now we're talking about it, but we're still not doing anything about it. Nothing's changing, and that's frustrating. Do we need to end our podcast?
I think we should end this part
Yeah,
of
we
it.
need to cut the recording.
Cut the recording.
Sure. Okay. Well, hey, thank y'all for stopping by and saying hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So the mental health system in America, gold or shit or
shit.
mid. I agree. It's shit. All right. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. See you later.